Hi guys, I'm Rebel Star Girl. Before I get into the contents of today's video, please remember to like, subscribe, and comment with any critiques, questions, or suggestions. Today's video is a part 2. You guys really liked the last video and I really enjoyed making it, so I wanted to make another one, and if you guys are interested, I would love to turn this into a series. So let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in. So let's get right into the art.
The first suggestion I got was to draw my OCs with winter clothing. So I spun the spinner with all of my OCs' names on it, and it landed on Hannah. Hannah is one of my animal hybrid OCs. She is part bat. She is blind but has incredible hearing. She is 16. She is hardworking, determined, motherly, and caring. Anything she puts her mind to, she gets done. I was having a little bit of trouble finding a pose for this, so I ended up just doing a straight on view, which isn't the most exciting, but I just didn't really feel up to doing something super challenging when I was drawing this. I decided to do sketchy liner because I just didn't feel like doing a liner, and I decided to do it in blue so that it would match the cool lighting and atmosphere.
For the outfit, I decided to go with a hat with a cute fuzzy pom-pom on top, a matching scarf and gloves, and a winter jacket.
For the background, I went with some trees and decided to do a morning lighting, so the lighting is kind of coming up from the bottom and from behind her. I imagine that maybe she's traveling with somebody and it's early in the morning and she's waking them up to get ready to go. I wasn't feeling super great when I was working on this drawing. This was kind of one of those drawings where I knew I needed to work on stuff for the video, so I was kind of pushing through and doing it anyway because I wanted to work on video art, but I wasn't feeling super inspired. But I was able to push through and come up with this anyway, so I hope you guys like it. Here's the final product. What do you guys think? I was really excited when I got this next suggestion. The suggestion was to draw my OCs with magical powers. So I went back to the spinner app and it landed on Riley. Now Riley is in the same story as Hannah. He's another one of my hybrid OCs. He is part cat and he actually has a twin sister who's also part cat named Cassidy. Now Riley has gone back and forth from having powers to not having powers. In the last video I said he didn't have any powers and now he has powers again. What I keep going back and forth with is splitting the powers between both twins or giving them both to Cassie. I want the powers to be mind reading and being an empath, but for this video at least, I decided to give that back to Riley because if he was going to have a power, he's going to have that one. So I wanted to draw a picture to kind of show that, so I decided to draw him feeling kind of overwhelmed, and I have all of these like emotion emojis spinning around his head. This one's a little bit more simple, and I also decided to go with clean line art for this one. I messed up this emoji. It's supposed to be behind the ear, and I didn't notice it until I was editing the video. I really struggle with drawing the cat ears on him. I watched this video on like how to draw animal ears to make it like more make sense to the anatomy of a human head, but then I never know where the hair should go and how like where is it growing from? How does it go around the ears? Like, so if you guys get any tips on that, I would love to hear it. I used a brush on Clip Studio Paint to create the freckles, and I think it actually worked pretty well. For the background, I kept it simple. I decided to use purple since it's the complementary color of yellow, and I did like a space thing. I think it's because the stuff floating around his head kind of reminded me of like space, so I just kind of went with that, even though he's not in space and it doesn't actually have anything to do with space. And here's the final product. What do you guys think? For this last illustration, I actually went with the same prompt because I wanted to do a character that doesn't already have powers so that I could come up with something that's completely outside of their story. So I spun the spinner again and it landed on Claire, which is awesome because I just worked on Claire in the last video, so this was perfect. If you haven't seen that video, quick recap on Claire. Claire is from a different story that I call Raising Robots. She is one of the main characters. She is a college student. She is hardworking, caring, kind of lonely, and just really struggling in her life. And then this little robot shows up at her door, and the story is about her now raising this little robot. The magical power I decided to give Claire was the ability to freeze and control time. So I gave her this like bow staff that kind of looks like the hands of a clock, and I really wanted to lean into the whole magical girl thing because their outfits are just so out there and they're not practical, but they're so fun and there's a lot of detail, and that's not really the kind of outfits I usually draw, so I wanted to try that. I didn't completely get it. She gives me more Doctor Strange vibes, but I did try to push myself to create something that was outside of my usual, and I do really like this one. I wanted to create a bunch of like allusions to the story and to the two other characters, so I gave her a purple and yellow stripe in her hair. On the staff, I did a little smiley face on one side for Jenny, and then I did this little, it looks like a keyhole, but it's supposed to look like Georgie's antenna. I also did that same shape that is supposed to look like Georgie's antenna along the edge of her skirt dress cape thingy. I also gave her those 2-finger gloves, which are actually the digital art gloves. If you've ever done digital art and worked on a tablet, that's what we wear. So I gave her those to represent that she's an artist, because in the story, that is what she is. Once again, I went with that sketchy line art, and this is straight on again. I just really didn't feel like doing challenging poses for this video, but I did go for a pretty unique hand pose. If you notice those hands, they're not in a really natural pose, but that is actually a spin with the bow staff. It's called the butterfly spin, and it's something I do with the bow staff all the time in martial arts, so I wanted to copy that. I actually took a picture of myself to get that hand reference, and it's not perfect, but I do really like the way it came out, and it's super cool to do a drawing of someone doing an actual martial arts move that I do. For the background, I did this blurred clock, and then I wanted to add some texture, so I added this, I forget what I used. It was one of the brushes, and I lowered the opacity, and it looks kind of like ice to kind of represent her like freezing time. My idea is that like maybe when she spins the staff, she can like slow down or freeze time or something. Overall, I do really like this one. It's probably my favorite out of the 3. I want to apologize for all the suggestions I didn't get to. I wasn't really feeling super motivated or inspired to do art last week when I was working on this, so that's why I kind of went for these ones where I could do the spinner and get a random OC and then do some more simple poses. But even though I didn't get to them, I really do appreciate you guys giving me these suggestions, so thank you guys for your support. Here's the final product. What do you guys think? Here's all the art I did for this video. These actually ended up being a lot more finished than the ones I did for part 1, so definitely check that out if you want to see what I did for the last one. And thank you guys so much for watching. As usual, I have no idea what the next video is going to be or when it is going to come out, but whatever it is and whenever it does, I hope to see you then. Bye!